Hello everyone and welcome to today's session, which is Bank Feeds Part 1, where we're going to look at how to activate and set up and then how to process your bank feeds in your Sage 50 account software. There is also a Part 2 to this. I'm going to show you in just a moment on how to get registered for this. But this session is going to last, it's booked out for 45 minutes. Depending on how many questions we have, we're probably not going to need that full amount of time. So you may get some time back at the end of the session. But my name's Abby. I'm going to be your host for today. It is just me on the session as well, so I will be picking up questions at the same time, so please do bear with me on that one. Now, if you're wanting to ask a question, you can use the questions panel down the right-hand side. And it's just that little icon with this little speech bubble icon with the question mark in the middle. So you can send your questions across to me, as your microphone will be automatically muted and you won't be able to unmute yourself. If you want to download today's handout, you can click the icon that looks like a little document with a folded corner, and you can that printout you can, well, the handout you can print out, you can write notes on. Don't worry if you're not able to listen and make notes at the same time. You are going to receive a recording of today's session in your follow-up email, so you can go back and watch that at your own pace as well. Just a reminder, all of our sessions are recorded, but as well as the recording, so you'll also get the link to register for future webinars and also access to recordings that have happened in the past as well. If you are wanting to get registered for Part 2, which is where we talk all about creating and managing rules and approvals, so Bank Feeds rules in short, it automates the posting of your transactions as they are downloaded or imported from your bank. So we kind of split the sessions into two, so we can spend more time on the Part 1, and then we don't have to rush through in Part 2 with all about the Bank Feeds rules and how you can speed up your reconciliation process. So if you've got your handout downloaded, you can click Get Registered here, or if you wait for your follow-up email, the links will be in there as well. Okay, so this is what we're going to be covering today. So we're going to start by covering what are bank feeds. We'll then move on to reconciliation versus bank feeds. Bank feeds activation, so how we're going to set up bank feeds depending on which way you're wanting to set up. And then we'll go through some bank feeds demonstration as well. And we've got some video demonstration on that as well. And those videos are going to be included in the recording as well. And then towards the end, we'll cover some FAQs and we'll do a summary as well. Okay, so let's get started with what are bank feeds? So the misconception of bank feeds is that it replaces your bank reconciliation process. What bank feeds can do is it can speed up your bank reconciliation process. So it's a tool that you use alongside your bank feeds. What it'll do is it'll either connect to your live bank, or you can also import transactions if your bank's not yet compatible, and we'll cover that more in the session. But by using bank feeds, you can download or import transactions from your bank. You can match against existing Sage transactions. You can create new transactions from downloaded bank transactions, and you can create and manage bank feeds rules for transactions to automatically post into the software. And just a reminder as well, it is free to use, so it is included in your subscription as well. So there's no charge from us or the bank to use this either. One thing I do want to make clear is that bank feeds are a one-way link. So information is not going to be sent from your 50 account software to your bank. It will only retrieve that information. Let's take a look at what it may look like if you are manually reconciling your bank account, whether that be through the software or not. You may be accessing statements online, printing them off, or you may have received them via post. You may have a lot of transactions, so your statements are long, or you may have a few months worth of reconciling to do if it's been a busy period, which could lead to a lot of paperwork on and around the desk. You'll be cross-referencing what's in your Sage software or creating new transactions, and then looking for the right transaction on your statement and ticking them off as you go. Now with bank feeds, all that information is displayed in one place on the screen. Now don't worry if you can't see what is on that little screen right there. This is not the demonstration. This is just a slide for us to look at. So no need for printed statements or flicking between browsers or PDF documents and then back to the Sage software. You can match them to downloaded transactions, so from either your bank or any existing transactions. And you can also create new transactions if they're not already existing, or create rules to post them automatically for you going forward if they are recurring transactions. Then once you've matched all the relevant transactions, it will take you to the normal bank reconcile screen, and all of your matched transactions will already be in the match section of the bank reconciliation window at the bottom. Now, a lot of you, I've been doing this session for a couple of years now, and you know, some people are like, well, the way I process, I don't think this is going to work. That's absolutely fine. It doesn't work for everybody. Okay, but what we do always recommend is set it up, try it. If it doesn't work for you, you simply just stop using it and revert to the method that you were doing before. Okay, so there's no harm in trying it, but like I say, the feedback that we've received, so it works great and it is a very popular feature, but you know, just depending on how you process, it may not work for you, and that's absolutely fine as well. Okay, so let's look at bank feeds activation. So bank feeds is either going to connect directly to your bank, or you can download your transactions as a file format and import them manually into the bank feeds module. Now, not all banks are compatible with what we call an automatic feed. And what an automatic feed is what it'll do is it will connect to something called the banking service. Now, that's not a Sage thing, that is a bank provider. What your bank provider will send it to. So, you know, there's other softwares that may need to connect to bank feed, so it's not, the banking service isn't a Sage thing. But what it will do is the bank will send that information just as a text format, and the software will then automatically download that for you. Now, as I said, not all banks are compatible. So in version 30.1, we introduced the manual way, as we call it, where you can go to your bank, log into your online banking, download a list of your transactions as they come in. As long as they appear in your bank, you can download a list of your transactions, and you can then import them into the software, into bank feeds. You can import any date range for manual, as long as you can get access to those from your transactions. With automatic, some banks only allow you to download, for example, the last 90 days. So it's entirely up to you which way you want to go about it. But both options are available as long as you are on version 30.1 and above. And we're going to talk about both of those today. But as I've mentioned, you can see at the bottom there, not all banks will be compatible with automatic feeds. Therefore, if you go to search for your bank in the automatic setup process and the option, you don't see the option for your bank, and it's most likely not compatible. But fear not, again, you have the manual option available if you do really want to use bank feeds. So what I'll do now is I'll show you the first video demonstration, and that's going to set up the automatic way. So we haven't had any questions come through as of yet, so please do pop them in as they come to your head, and I'll try my best to pick them up as quick as possible.
Let's take a look at the bank feed sign-up process. If you're new to bank feeds, then it's quick and easy to set up. If you've already used Sage connected services such as remote data access, or if you've used bank feeds before, you'll need your Sage account credentials to hand, as well as your internet banking login details. If you've not set up connected services, the sign-up process is simple. From the navigation bar on the left, click Bank Feeds, and then click Get Started. For the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to connect to an automatic live feed. Select Connect Bank. You can connect your Sage account by entering your personal and company details. At this point, you will either enter existing Sage account credentials, or you can create a new account here. Once your Sage account is connected, you'll be presented with a list of popular banks. There's also an option to search for your bank. If your bank account isn't available, then this means it is not currently supported. There are two ways in which a connection to a bank can be made, and this depends on the banking provider. Direct bank feeds, which are indicated by the term connection powered by Sage, and those which access your bank account via our third-party provider Plaid. The sign-up process for these is slightly different. For those bank accounts that allow direct bank feeds, click on the bank account and then agree to Sage retrieving your bank account data. This takes you to your bank's internet banking login page. Sign in as usual using your bank credentials and complete any two-factor authentication prompts. Once connected, choose the date you want to download the transactions from and select Continue. Finally, click Finish and your bank will show as connected. To connect to a bank which connects via Plaid, the sign-up is slightly different. Select your bank and click Continue. Click Continue again and allow Plaid to retrieve your data for 90 days. Then click Continue to log in. Next, enter your internet banking credentials and complete any two-factor authentication. From the list, select the correct bank account and choose whether you want to opt in to sharing any additional data. Finally, accept the terms and conditions and connect account information.
Okay, so we've just watched the video on the automatic setup process. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to quickly show you how to do the process if you are using manual. So that's uploading a file. So I'm going to go into bank feeds down the left hand side. And you can see I've already got one connected, and that'll be my automatic feed in 1200. I'm going to set up 1210. So I'm going to click Get Started. And that's where you're presented with these two options. So again, we've just gone through automatic there. So this time I'm going to click Import Statement. So whenever you come to a new bank feeds, you will get this prompt here, and you do get the option as well to skip this page next time as well. So it just gives you a little bit of an overview, but what you can do, and I will make you aware when you're using import feature, is that if your bank does eventually become compatible, then you don't have to set up a brand new feed because you might have loads of rules set up and things like that. You can just, and I'll show you where you can change that option to turn it into an automatic feed at a later date. But this time I'm just going to click Continue. So you can see here straight away, upload your file. So I'm just going to quickly show you my file, what it'll look like. So when you download your file, you shouldn't need to be changing any of the values, the dates, or anything like that. The only thing is it might be just the format that you may need to alter, and I'll come to that in just a moment. Now, some of you may be used to importing transactions into the software. So it could be like sales invoices and things like that. So the import process is slightly different for this, and the file is not as detailed. So as you can see, just dragging this over here. So we've got the date, we've got the banking reference, and then we've got the amount. Some have got negative if they are negative, money going out. So that's how quite simple the file looks that you're going to be importing. Again, it just depends on the format that you download from your bank. So if I just close that down, you can see here we support various file types, including CSV and Excel files. And we've got other formats because you might not be familiar with those. So we've got other file types as well. At the very bottom, you can see if you're using a CSV or an Excel file, it needs to contain specific headers. If you open up the file import guide, it will tell you what you need to do. Again, it's not a huge amount of changes. You might just need to add in an extra column or something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a file from my device. So I'll just quickly pop into where my file is. I've got bank transactions import. So select my file, mine's a CSV. I'm going to review transactions. And you can see here it's asking me for the date order because you can actually use bank feeds with foreign banks. So, especially if you've got America, you might need to change the date format for those. But we're going to do day, month, year. And we'll click continue. Okay, so you can see here it's summarizing my transactions. So I've got 26 transactions from the 1st of July to the 26th of July. If we scroll down, you can see I've got my transactions there. Money going out is in red. You can also change how many items you see. So if you've got quite a long list, you want to see more on the screen, you've got the option to change the amount of items you can see there as well. So once you've checked your transactions, make sure everything is correct and you're happy, you can just go ahead and click confirm import. So we'll let those transactions import. Again, don't forget, if your file's a bit bigger, you've got a lot more transactions, it may take a little bit longer. But once it is complete, you'll get import complete with a little bit of a summary, as we've just discussed there as well. Simply close the window. It's going to do a little bit of a refresh for us. Lovely. So then what you'll see is that you'll see your imported transactions down the left, and then your transactions that you've created in Sage appearing on the right. A couple of things to show you. On your homepage, you'll see in green is your automatic bank feed, and then you've got import only in your manual one. You can import in your automatic feed as well. I'll quickly pop into here. And the reason why you might use it in an automatic feed is, if, for example, if you have, you might be just starting out with bank feeds, but actually your bank hasn't been reconciled for a while, and you might need to reconcile all the transactions as far back as you can that your bank will allow you to import transactions. You do have the import option along the top as well. But if I just pop back into my import only bank feed, and I'll just show you where you will find that option if you want to connect later. So 3 little dots in the top right hand corner, and then click to connect to automatic feeds. Okay, so that's how you set up we've done the automatic feed setup, and then we've done the manual setup as well. So I'm just going to pop back to my slides. Okay, so we've set up, we've gone through the two options here, but what I do want to make you aware of is that once you've set it up, whichever way you decide, actually processing in bank feeds is exactly the same. You get access to exactly the same features. So automatic match, manual matching, creating rules, ignoring transactions, and processing recurring items as well. What I will say about processing recurring items, bank feeds rules kind of replaces that. So if you're not sure which one you want to use either one or the other. You don't want to be duplicating the work if you're trying to use both, because essentially they do the same thing, but bank feeds rules has a bit more automation than what the recurring items does. Okay, again, I have put a link there at the bottom if you do want a guide on how to set up your bank feeds as well, if you find working that way is a little bit better. Okay, so we'll break down the bank feeds. So I'm going to be covering steps 1 to 3 on today's session. Part 2 is step 4, and then step 5, we've already got a full session. I think it's done by Michael, and which is a recording all about just general reconciliation. Okay, so let's get stuck in with the step 1, so auto match. So this is the step you might want to be doing first. So auto match is going to show you suggested matches. And those suggested matches are based off any transaction that exists. So you've already manually processed into Sage, and that has the same value and date, give or take 4 days. Now, just because it's a suggested match doesn't necessarily mean it's correct. That's absolutely fine. You might have quite a few transactions that might be named similar or things like that. So you can unmatch if they're not correct. But if you look through those and go, oh, do you know what it is? They're all right. You can simply just click confirm all. That's one click and you could have matched, I don't know, 20 transactions in a click. So what I'll do now, what I'll do is before I show you, just want to mention the last part as well is the similar transactions badge. So it may be that you've got that one, as you can see as per the screenshot, you've got £75 there on your left, which is what you've downloaded from the bank. And on the right, it's got 2 similar transactions found. So you might have a couple of transactions that are quite similar in value and date. So Sage might go, well, actually, I'm not sure which one you want to choose if they are correct. So then you can go in there, click view, and again, you're going to see all of this on the demonstration, but it does that as well. So I'll show you the first video demonstration. Again, if you do have any questions, do pop them through to me and I'll try and pick them up as quick as possible.
The auto match feature will show suggested matches for transactions downloaded from your bank account with existing Sage transactions. To be automatically matched, transactions must have already been processed into Sage, have the same value, and be dated within 4 days of each other. The screen is divided into 2 parts. On the left, you'll see the bank transactions that have been downloaded or imported from your bank, and on the right, the transactions have been entered into Sage. You can specify what information you'd like to include on your Sage transactions by using the drop-down menu in the top right. You will also see this option within the To Be Matched tab. Matches between transactions are indicated by a green link. If matched correctly, click Confirm. This then transfers the transactions to the Confirm tab. If an auto match is incorrect, simply unmatch the transactions and they will be moved to the To Be Matched tab, where they can be manually matched. Where more than one possible match has been identified, you can view the suggested and choose the correct transaction. You can also confirm more than one transaction at a time. Simply select the transactions you wish to approve and click Confirm Selection, or you can click to confirm all or unmatch all if not correct.
It takes a little bit longer to switch between screens there with the system. So that's the auto match tab. Now, you don't have to do it in this order where you do auto match first and then move into the to be matched. But it's probably the most logical because you want to match all the ones that are suggested first, then come in and do the manual matching. So in the to be matched tab, you've got the option here where you can match multiple transactions, not just on a one-to-one basis. So it could be one bank transaction to many Sage transactions, vice versa. It could be many to many. So, it isn't just on a one-to-one basis. If you've got a transaction that you haven't yet processed into Sage, you can create new transactions from the downloaded transactions. It might be that a transaction has actually been processed outside of bank feeds, and you might say, well, actually, I've already done that. I've already bank recced it. Well, I'll just ignore it and hide it from view. And again, at this point in here, if you're using processing recurring items, then you can do that in here as well. So what I'll do now is I'll show you the second video. Again, if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to ask.
In the To Be Matched tab, you can manually match transactions that could not be auto-matched with any existing transactions. You can apply searches and sorts to the transaction lists, including by date, amount, reference, and type. You can manually match transactions on more than just a one-to-one basis. To match a single downloaded transaction to multiple Sage transactions, highlight the transactions to be matched and click Match Selection, or simply click and drag between the transactions to form the transaction link. When part matched, an orange indicator appears. You can either match more transactions or create a transaction for the remaining amount. Once fully matched, transactions are automatically moved to the Confirm tab. You can create missing transactions by using the Create option on the bank transaction. Some of the transaction information will automatically be entered for you, making this a quick task. At this point, you can also allocate the payment to any outstanding invoices. To create a transaction from multiple bank transactions, select the relevant transactions and then in the top right, click Create. Recurring items can be viewed and processed within bank feeds. This adds them to the To Be Matched tab to be manually matched. You can ignore transactions by highlighting the item and clicking Ignore Selection. This option is mostly used when you are first using bank feeds and you may have already processed transactions outside of bank feeds. If required, they can be reinstated by clicking View Ignore and selecting Restore. If you leave the bank feeds window at this point, all matches will be lost and the matching process will need to start again. However, this does not remove any transactions created during the bank feeds process up to this point.
Okay, so lastly, we've got the Confirm tab. So at this point, this is where you'd review all of your matches before processing to the reconciliation window. Again, so you might find that you have come in here and you find, oh, actually, I've matched that by accident. You can unmatch these transactions in here as well. At this point, this is where you would create rules. You can only create rules from within the Confirm tab as they are based off matched transactions. At this point, you would then either save and close to return to your bank reconciliation at a later date if you're not ready to do so, or you might have more transactions that you need to match. But if you are ready, you can also click Save and Continue to Reconcile. And what that will do is it will then take you to your normal bank reconcile screen. Just all your transactions, instead of appearing on the top window, they will appear on the bottom half, waiting for you to click Reconcile. So what I'll do now is I'll show you the last video and then we'll come back to the slides.
Before proceeding to the bank reconciliation, it is important to review all confirmed transactions.
You can use the search feature to easily locate transactions and make any necessary amendments. If any transactions are incorrect, you can unmatch them and send them back to the To Be Matched tab. You also have the option to create BankFeeds rules to further automate your processing. These rules can automatically create Sage transactions based on specific criteria, saving you time and reducing the risk of human error. If needed, you can also export confirmed transactions into a CSV file. To save your progress, click Save and Close to move confirmed transactions to the Reconcile window, where you can reconcile at a later date. If you're ready, save and proceed to the Bank Reconciliation window, entering statement details and reviewing matched transactions. Once done, click to reconcile your transactions.
Okay, so that was the confirmed section. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to briefly give you a little bit of a taster of what's to come in part 2. So it's a little bit about BankFeeds rules and what they are. So it's where transactions can be automatically matched. You create rules based on matched transactions. You can assign nominal codes, tax codes to your transactions as well. You also have the option to split transactions when it's nominal codes. So you might, based on your reporting, you might split, for example. I know some people do have gas and electric set up, or like their provider as a supplier. Some people don't. So that's the kind of example we might go through. If you want to split your gas and your electric up over your nominal codes. One thing I will mention, although we do support foreign currency banks for BankFeeds, you cannot use foreign currency or bank transfers for your rules, so they're not available. And also as well, you do get maximum of 300 rules per bank account. So just think, if you have, say, 2 or even 3 banks set up with BankFeeds, that's 300 rules per bank. That's 900 transactions that you could potentially automate by using BankFeeds rules. But like I say, don't forget to register for that session if you want to come along. That is at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. It is also my final webinar for the Christmas period, so please do attend. It would be nice to see you all on there. Okay, so we'll just move on towards the end. So please, if you do have any questions, do get them in. We haven't actually had any questions come through regarding today's topic. So hopefully I've done my job good. But please do let me know. What I will go through now is just some useful links that may support you with your journey with BankFeeds. So setting up, using BankFeeds, and also BankFeeds rules. A big question we always get with BankFeeds, I want to quickly show you since we've got time. Well, how secure is it? How safe is it? So I just want to show you on the Setup BankFeeds guide that I have provided to you. At the very bottom, you can see our BankFeed security statement as well. So just to give you that bit of reassurance of how secure it actually is. Okay, so just a reminder about the webinars that we do have coming up. So we've got webinars on there for Sage 50 accounts and Sage 50 payroll. So all you need to do is just go to sage.co.uk/webinars and you'll find them all on there. If you're just looking for 50 accounts, don't forget they're always included in your follow-up email as well. Okay, so that does bring us to the end of today's session. If you've got what you need today and you want to leave the session, you will receive an email in around an hour or so, as I've mentioned, with our links for the webinar schedule and today's recorded session for you to refer back to if needs be. Don't forget as well, those videos are all going to be included in that recording. Upon exiting the session, you will see a survey at the end, and that survey is on how I've done today, how you've found my training. Please do leave me a comment on what you liked, what could I have done better. I do like to read every single comment on there, so anything is really appreciated. Okay, so no further questions have come through. So what I'll do is I'll wrap this session up. I want to say thank you to you all for your participation today. Just a reminder, we've got plenty of sessions over the next, well, slowing down a bit with Christmas, but we've got loads coming in January and February as well. So please do get registered for those. So I'm going to say another thank you and take care.